Yo, welcome back to DJ Bobby Sauce Podcast. This is episode number 12. Let's go.
Saucy Capone.
Welcome back, you guys. So good to be back, man. You know, here with my co-host, Saucy Capone right here.
Good.
I'm DJ Bobby. So good, man. You know, and you know what we always do? Shoot the shit.
That's right. We're shooting the shit.
So, Gio, man, what's been going on with you?
Man, good to see you, Bobby. Hey,
Yeah, great to see you.
Do your thing. Happy Sunday to everybody out there. You know, it's been about 2 weeks since the last time we chopped it up. I kind of like, you know, just a couple cool little things going on. I mean, first thing today was pretty dope. I'll just dive into today. Had a good proud dad moment. My son's learning how to swim, and today was his second lesson.
Yeah,
and it was great because I was able to see the Superman swim.
Oh yeah,
the starfish where he lays on his back. I mean, it was just amazing, and you could see him just growing as a person, and it really hit me good with that, you know. So
Woo.
Shout out to Enzo.
Shout out to
better
Enzo, man.
Yeah, they said he's a fast learner, so
that's amazing, man.
And then number 2, it'll be up and running soon. I think we're gonna put it on the screen. We got the Sauce Gods sports gambling, sports
Woo.
wagering. So it's coming right away, right there near you. And it's great because basically, you know, fantasy's coming up, NFL.
It's coming up right around the corner.
You know, the season, preseason, the real season, specializing in all sports, you know, basketball, baseball. You could vote on the damn president, who's going to be the next president. So, yeah, just go ahead and click just text the number. You can text the number play. Very easy. And, it can set you up on an account. So
there we go, man.
Sauce wagering, man. Let's get ready to go. Specializing in all sports, bro.
Sauce God Inc.
So, so I'm very excited about that, bro.
That's what's up, man.
Yep.
Hey,
what about you, my man?
Hey, I've been great, man. You know, it's been 2 weeks since we last met. Last podcast was amazing. This one's going to be even better. You know, super excited. But, you know, really big accomplishment that I just went through was I did my first ever festival.
Okay.
First ever festival ever. You know, let's take a look right now.
Wow.
Look at that logo.
Yep. Shout out to Savage Designs over there in Norwalk.
Shout out, dude. He made me look amazing, and I felt so great, dude. It was just such an amazing experience. My family, my friends were right there. Some girls were there too. You can see right there.
Who's that guy in the yellow just bouncing up and down right there looking like
Hey,
Diesel?
I wish I
Vin
knew.
Diesel look like, right?
I wish I knew.
Yeah.
He was having fun though, but
see that.
You know what?
He's still jumping, look.
You know, man, so thankful, man. Shout out to Space Taco. Shout out to JP Group. Shout out to Pico Rivera. It was at the Pico Rivera Sports Arena. Shout out to everyone that's been supporting, man. Like, I'm so happy of where I've come as a DJ, and I can't wait for more. Can't wait for so much more, man.
That's cool, man. Exciting.
You know, but
it's about goddamn time. Just kidding. That's dope, man. That's awesome.
I appreciate it, man.
And you'll be doing Long Beach Taco too, so you'll be there again as well.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna. I'm actually been playing every Saturday, so
there you go.
It's been awesome, man. Shout out to my cousin Armando. He's the one who owns Long Beach Taco.
Long Beach Taco
off of First Street, and love that guy, man. He's been really supporting me through some hard times, man. Right. You know, it hasn't been the easiest for me.
What's the hard time going on?
Let me tell you that.
Yeah, tell us.
You know, I've been picking up DJ gigs, man, but it hasn't been easy for me. Like it hasn't been easy money wise, and it's not easy for me to say that. Like,
who do you owe? Do you owe the bookie? I'm just kidding. Hey,
fun, yeah.
I'm not giving you my card.
Fun, yeah. No, man, but I appreciate this guy right here. He's actually pushed me through a lot. He's actually told me one thing that he told me this past week was that if you're gonna do something, you got to commit to it, and that's what I've been doing, dude. Like I've been spending like countless hours, like just staying up at night, just working on my dad's business or working on like editing or anything like that. You know, like I put in the extra time, and I really thought of Gio when he told me that, dude. So, you know, it means a lot, dude. Yeah. It really means a lot. I really appreciate that.
Yep. It's awesome, man. That's good, man.
Yeah,
man. More upcoming events coming up?
I'm playing at Long Beach Taco this upcoming Saturday.
Okay.
It's going to be the 6th, August 6th. So, can't wait to see you guys there.
All right, there you go. Long Beach Taco it is for the win.
Yeah. But looking forward to it, man. You know, but I heard that preseason's coming up for you guys on Thursday, right?
Next week, got the game. Ready to go, bro.
There we go.
Against the Browns.
Damn.
Ready to go. Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio.
Oh, there we go.
So, yeah,
but you won't be there,
No, I won't be at that one, bro.
Not at that one. You'll be at the real game, though.
No,
the first real game.
9/11.
Damn.
We'll be there.
There we go.
But what's our purpose? Why are we here?
Hey, we got to find out.
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, you know, this episode today, episode 12, is called The Purpose. And, you know, we're all trying to find our purpose, everyone, and including ourselves. And we have a great special guest here today that wants to talk about his purpose. He has a great story, super inspiring story.
You got a video too, right?
We got a video too. Let's show you guys the video beforehand. Look at that, man. Amazing, man. You know, like it's all about the purpose and guiding the purpose of others.
Kind of looks like a Ninja Turtle. Right? Michelangelo right there. Look at that.
Right?
Leonardo.
Speaking about, hey, funny that you say that too, because the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comes out this upcoming week too.
What do you mean? It's like the newest. Look, we got it right here. We got a sneak peek right here. Look at this.
Hey, the live action.
Look at this kick probably right here. Oh my God. He probably taught that guy how to. Oh, there you go. He definitely taught that guy how to do that. Wow. That's impressive.
Wow, man.
Who we looking at? Who's this right here? My man, Uncle Roland.
Uncle Roland. Wow, man.
Uncle Roland. Big Uncle.
Right. Hey, man. How you doing?
So happy to have you on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's great to be here, actually, with you guys.
What was that? Where was that at?
Well, actually, that was, I was actually teaching a workshop at CSW. It was a section where I was teaching a lot of people I was teaching, first of all, his MMA, his professional MMA group, but this was actually a workshop that I was teaching what they call a Nadaban, a tornado kick. You'll see it sometimes in some of the UFC stuff. It's a very advanced kick, mainly coming from Taekwondo. And it's so deceptive because, you know, you're spinning around and then all of a sudden your foot comes up and hits them in the head, and quite devastating. And it's something that it's in a higher skill set. You know, of course I got, you know, contracted to do, you know, more higher more advanced techniques, you know, than just the basic, you know, front kick, round kick that normally use in the MMA. More advanced techniques to, you know, throw off the game and make it more effective for the fighter. So that's what that was about, teaching a workshop and stuff like that.
How long would you say it takes for someone that doesn't know anything to do that tick? Because you said it's such specialized.
Well, it depends. There's a couple attributes that you have to have for that. Of course, you have to have, you know, balance. But I mean, the one thing is, I could teach it quite easily because I just break it down. You know, a lot of the things I do, I break things down in little parts, and then I combine it together, you know. I remember when I was a resident athlete at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, we would have like gymnasts, rhythmic gymnasts who wanted to learn martial arts. And, you know, they're completely in control of their body. They're dancers and everything. So I would teach them in ballet, you know, pirouette, you know, grand jeté, all these terms in French and stuff that normally ballet's done.
Yeah.
And then they would be able to pull off this movement because of the fact that they know the terminology, the dance terminology, the movement. And all they have to do is change the mentality to make it effective and applicable for fighting.
So that's like, this is like why you say like this is pretty much why you're here, is like your purpose, and we'll talk about like how we met a little bit later, but like you always knew at a young age this was something that you always wanted to do, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that me and just like others were inspired by Bruce Lee. I still remember, you know, when Bruce Lee died, of course, it was like devastating. It was like Kobe Bryant dying, you know, that one of those things.
I remember that so much,
you know, and so, you know, it devastated the whole community, you know, and so what happened was when he died, of course, that whole process, and then his movie, which was Enter the Dragon, came out, and that was a American movie that he did with Sterling Silliphant. And so what happened was, I remember it came out in Man's Chinese Theater, and I saw it like 15 times, you know, and that was like a big deal, you know. So not only myself, but he inspired, of course, the whole world through his martial arts, because he was a superb martial arts philosopher. And of course, as you know today, I mean, he's just as strong as he was then. He's a legend, and he's inspired so many people, not only in the physical aspects, which they considered him the MMA, pioneer, which he was. If you look at his first movie, you can see that he actually did a submission. And at that time, I still remember, why is he doing that? And it was a submission. It was because he was far ahead of everybody else in thinking about, the modern style. It wasn't modern, but it was just how it was.
I'm sorry, for the guests that don't know, for the people listening right now that don't know a submission, can you explain that a little more?
Yeah, submission is something like where you put a person in a position where they have to submit because of pain or they're getting choked or something, like in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they call it arm bars. So you see their arm like this and it's getting extended where it feels like they're going to break their elbow, or a choke, you're cutting off the blood to their brain and so they pass out.
Gotcha.
So those are submissions,
They're at a point where they have to either surrender or else they can't go any further.
Correct. And
Yeah.
so he was ahead of his time, doing those type of submissions.
You were how old again?
At that time, I was probably about 10, 11 years old.
And you've been doing this for how long now?
50 years.
Wow.
50 years.
How young are you now?
I'm 61.
Wow. Look
It's
amazing.
going to be 62 this year. Yeah.
So you with all this going on, this is what you did for a living.
Yeah, this is what I do for a living. This is what I've done since 1986.
Wow.
Exclusive.
The year that I was born.
Wow.
Was that when you were born?
Yeah, that was when I was born. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
man.
cheers to that.
Cheers to that, you guys. Cheers to that.
86.
Wow.
All the 86 babies out there.
86.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I wasn't even thought of at that time. I was not even a thought.
For all you guys,
Zygo.
for all them guys out and girls out there clowning our strawberry daiquiris, don't judge us.
Okay.
Malibu. It was on the house.
Actually tastes
Shout out to
good.
our sponsor.
It was on the house.
Oh, man.
So you taught for a long time. Okay. So with that being said, how many dojos did you end up running? Like how many did you have?
I actually had 5. They call it a dojos. I started my first dojo. I actually started in the garage, and how it started was I was training and competing. I was training for the Olympics and stuff like that. And so I had a little studio in my garage, and I'd flip open the garage door and have my bags, and I'd be kicking them. And apparently, there's a lot of children on our block, so they'd come and watch me. I was like the show of the kids,
Wow.
So the kids would come and watch me, and they'd be staring at me, and I just would train because that was my purpose, per se.
Yeah.
And so they would watch me, and all these little kids would watch me, and then they would beg me to teach them. And that's how I started my first school, was in the garage. And it was all the neighborhood children.
Wow.
And it
What
just
city was that
progressed
in?
in Cerritos.
Wow.
There we
Local.
go.
The city of
There we go.
Cerritos. Yeah, and it
Cerritos.
kind of went from there. And from there, I've created world champions from that group. I was able to, all these lessons that they learned through the martial arts, the discipline, and respect, they went to apply, and a lot of them become professionals, and they attribute a lot of their success to me, which I feel I'm actually honored to be part of their growth and success. Wow. And so, of course, because the martial arts did that for me, my martial arts was actually that's what the martial arts was to me. After Bruce Lee passed away and stuff, and we would do our backyard fights just to be like him, and we all wanted to be like him. I had the bowl haircut too, the bowl haircut. Everybody I knew had the bowl haircut, and everybody was inspired.
Hey, I was there at one point too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't have a picture up there, but don't put it up there.
Dumb and Dumber wasn't even out at that time. They copied that for someone else.
Yeah, so I mean, so that's what it was. I mean, at that time, it's weird because you think about nunchaku. The nunchaku is those things that you use. It was like a 2 sticks with a string, and you look at it. It's a felony to have nunchaku.
Wow.
But not
Really?
a rifle, not a machine gun or a gun. It's like what? It's like
Seriously?
what?
Even
Yeah.
right now?
Right now, a felony to
crazy.
have a nunchaku.
I didn't know that.
Can you imagine that? That's ridiculous. Because at that time, with Bruce Lee being so, everybody was like carrying him. I was carrying him, and I had him in my pants. I had ninja stars in my back pocket. I mean, I was like little martial artist. I'd throw ninja stars. I'd cut him from sheet metal.
Did you have any crazy situation where you had to use your power out on the streets because something went down, or no?
Well, I've had to throughout my life. I've had to,
Really?
Yeah, I've had to use my martial arts, and it's always came from a place of really the true purpose of the martial arts. The true purpose of the martial arts is for protecting myself or protecting others. I never did, only competitively, of course, I did it because
Yeah.
it's a contest. But in regards
what
to
was one time, if you don't mind me asking, what was one time that you had to use it?
Well,
because some bonehead was trying to.
Well, actually, I
Some
remember
pirate.
being at
Sailor.
being at Lake
Sailor.
Havasu, Lake Havasu, and I was
I've never been.
I was there with some good friends, and there's a bunch of bikers and real drunk, and throwing M80s into their boat and stuff like that, and so and then after that they were also rowdy, and they tried to pick up on my friend's girlfriend, and there was about 6 of them, and it was just me, him, and her, and they approached us, and it got really tough, and at that time I was, like I said, it was all dynamics.
How young were you at that time?
I was probably about 19.
19?
Yeah,
Wow.
about 19.
Wow.
And then these guys were all like kind of
probably
studs. And so, yeah, I just like took a couple out, cross behind sidekick, cross, hit a couple of shots with some guys, put them out.
Wow.
And then the one guy, he, of course he was trying to protect his girlfriend, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, what happened? So it was kind of just natural.
You said just a couple guys. Wow.
But
impressive.
So casual.
I mean, it was like, I think that when you're in the right, and you have the element of surprise, and people don't expect you to do that. And that's the way, to me, what the martial arts was always about in my life. It was about, it's all about respect. It's all about you use it when you need to use it, not go out and start trouble. And that's kind of the thing that I'm kind of frustrated with if I was to knock somebody out, I'm not going to, of course, right now everybody celebrates, oh, I kicked your ass or whatever. I don't like that personally. That's the one aspect I don't like about the modern style of battle. To me, it's all about your contest, your respect. You beat them fair and square, whatever. You give them, there's a lot of people that do show that respect. And I love that part of it. But I don't like the celebrating of somebody's defeat. That's how I feel personally. And because of the fact that my background was that of like Kung Fu Kwai Chang Kang, it's all about respect. It's all about, you use it because you have to use it. It was all about monks. That's how martial arts was created, because, people they were getting their food stolen, they were getting ripped up, torn up, and beat up. And so it's like, hey, man, I have to do something. Wow. So that's when the martial arts created. And these are spiritual people. People are of God.
Are you from here? Are you from Cali? Or?
Well, no, I'm Filipino, but I was born in San Diego. Of course, I think I was conceived in the Philippines. And so, I was definitely conceived there, and I was born in San Diego. Actually, Miramar, the fighter town, USA.
Really?
Yeah. So that's that was kind of the thing.
That's cool, man.
And my father was in the military. We actually came here because we got here because of the military. He was a Navy man. And that's all I wanted to do since I was a kid. I loved martial arts.
Yeah.
Martial arts. That's all I wanted to do every single day, every moment. And that was all I did.
Wow.
And so it was martial arts. So, and it came from a place, of course, of fascination when you see someone like Bruce Lee who can just move graciously and be so effective.
Yeah.
And because of that, I was just like, wow, I want to be like him. And
I'm sure everyone wanted to be
yeah,
like
everybody wanted to be like Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And he was dynamic.
Bruce Lee was the guy. He's everywhere.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I think that the one thing, of course, what made Bruce Lee so amazing was he was not into competition. He was into what was effective, what would work. He was into the street fight, how to really apply his concepts. And of course, his foundation was
Sound like he was about being right too.
No, he was actually right.
For like just for the good people out there.
Yeah, he was.
His vibe was. You can kind of feel that from him.
It's really cool because the Bruce Lee's bags, the same guy that made him made mine.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that's like a big deal. I was like, oh my God. So the guy who made a lot of Bruce Lee's equipment made mine when he was living. And so I was always so proud of oh my God.
You remember his name?
Yeah, his name was Tommy Christensen. He's passed away now, but he's the one who made stuff for Dan Asano, who was Bruce Lee's right-hand guy, who kind of Bruce Lee passed his whole system of Jeet Kune Do to. He was one of my teachers as well in the early 70s.
Uncle Roland, you should have been, we're going to talk about how you got that nickname too.
Okay.
In a little bit, but I mean, it sounds like you could have been on one of those Chuck Norris movies or Van Damme, or I mean, I've seen the moves.
Yeah,
or even Karate Kid too.
I've seen the moves, bro.
Yeah.
Do we have another video of him showing the moves?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Solomon, can you put up another one?
Oh wow,
there we go.
What is this? Look at this.
Look at that.
This is my system. It's called Manuskrima. And actually, Pa'a is going to be foot, mano is hand, eskrima means to skirmish. This is a sayaw I created, which is going to be dance. And it's done with a barong right there, which is going to be a leaf colored as a leaf sword. So this sword was actually used in the brush in the Philippines to cut down like brush and stuff like that. And it was a close quarter battle. So a lot of times if you see a lot of the people who were fighting at that time, they would have this and a 45 in their hand. And this was a sword basically to slash. And that would be kind of that's my sayao called barong. And that's when I created. But yeah, that's
you got a straight killer on the couch.
That's really amazing.
I mean, that was, it's
beast mode.
Yeah, but it's beautiful because, as you know, the martial arts, many of the martial arts was actually hidden in the dance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what makes it so beautiful, so elegant. A lot of the Filipinos would hide when the conquistadors were in the Philippines, they would hide the martial arts in the dance, the chicken dance. So you'd see a lot of this movement because they were prohibited from practicing. So they would do it in all the dance and all the movement. They would do this movement right in front of their conquerors. And, and of course, that was, you look at that and you're like, oh my God, that looks pretty deadly. And it is deadly. I mean, that, you're talking about, that's a sword, you cut somebody.
Yeah, no, and the movement and I'm sure you can evade and avoid very well. Like it's all about the movement. Like you said, the dance.
Yep. And I think that's what's so beautiful. A lot of times before the screamadors would go out for battle, a lot of it, like Albert Einstein said, is the highest kite you can fly is imagination. And in imagination, everything's created. I mean, that's how come they created the plane. That's how come they created everything is from imagination. So a lot of times when you'd have that imagination through your movement, you can apply that. I love that one story in which I guess a person was in prison and stuff, and he learned how to golf mentally. And when he got out of prison, he was a fantastic golfer because he was able to do this mental imagery and everything.
Wow.
And
that's a true story.
Yeah, it's a true story. And like myself, when I was at the Olympic Training Center as a resident athlete, we'd have to do lots of mental imagery because there's lots of fear. All of us have tons of fear. Especially when you fight and when you compete, you get nervous, you want to do this, but you have to go through the experience mentally. And then finally, when you can get through the experience successfully, you're ready.
Yeah, look at that. What's this?
Oh, this is a Olympic Training Center team. That's us over there. That's Sang Chu Lee. He was the 88 Olympic coach. And my dear friend.
You're in there too?
Yeah, that's me right there. Gold medal right there on the bottom row, the third from the right.
Oh, I see you.
Yeah, see me with my smile.
Wow.
And the guy who's on the far left, he's on the seating second one. We just actually buried him last. He was an Olympic gold medalist. He was my best friend.
Sorry to hear
and he
bro.
passed away. And that guy was just an amazing martial artist.
What's his name?
His name was Jimmy Kim.
Jimmy Kim.
And this guy was 225 pounds. He could kick fast as a Finway. You're talking about a person who's less than 110 pounds. When he would kick you, he would dislocate your arm with the paddle and pad. This guy was amazing. He knocked out everybody.
Jeez, bro.
And I was my sparring partner.
Sounds like a jet.
Yeah, I know. That's the only guy. That's me again. I'm fighting a guy, Naeem
the one
Hassan.
kicking that guy?
Yeah, I was doing a jumping axe kick on the guy. That was for Olympic trials and stuff like that. So yeah, that's
a throwback.
Yeah, that's a throwback. 1988, man. So I was a young.
No wonder why you had all this success and having the 5 dojos and you got. You said you have a beautiful family and kids.
Yes.
And just all these good things, man. I mean, look at all these accomplishments.
Well, that's
where's this at?
No, this is at a Filipino festival in San Pedro. What I like to do a lot, I like to blend art. So this is me doing an aerial takedown of him. I have a stick in my hand. I do a takedown and then finish him from there. But I love aerial.
If they were allowed sticks in the UFC. I'd put my money on you all day.
Right.
I'll tell Dana White right now.
Hey, I'll text Sauce God right now
or Jake Paul. Like, hey, you want to have a real fight? Let me show you a real fight. Uncle Roland, 50 plus some years old, young, versus you with the stick and his takedowns. I'm winning in Vegas every time.
I'll text Sauce God. I'll tell, hey, put a bet for me. Text to play. There we go. And I want to piggyback off you guys. So I know you guys share something in common that maybe a lot of people do not know is that both you guys have 2 sons.
Yeah.
So Gio right here, his boys Rocco and Enzo. Shout out to them, man. And your boys too.
Yeah, my sons his name is Kadante and it's actually Samuel. It's a spiritual name. And that's the kind I love the guy who's actually filming this named Solomon. And when I hear anything that has to do with Christianity or anything spiritual, it really warms my heart.
That's awesome.
I love anything spiritual.
I think that's why we're here, the purpose, because we're going off that episode 7. The people that were the real fans of the Sauce and DJ Bobby podcast, we were over here and you got to see it too, where we're at Schooner later. We're having an outdoor breakfast, having a good time.
What a good morning.
Good times. Yeah, good schooner. Has a couple sauces. And then
dude, saucy Capone here.
Hey, next thing you know, I had to tell you about like, hey man, you wouldn't believe what happened to me in the month of April, only a couple months back, on a Friday morning at 8:30. And it was like it was supposed to happen. It was me working at what I do for a living at the gym, and you know, customer comes in and like I'm an ex-member and I need to get back to my craft. I need to get back to the, you know, working out and stuff. And then when that all was said and done, everything was over, we go back to the where we were supposed to sell you a membership, and like all of a sudden we just start shooting the shit, like our own shit, you know. Yeah. And, you know, you're telling me how, you know, unfortunately there was a moment where it was like you got quiet and you were just like, yo, Gio, you know, I'll be real with you. Like I had the 5 dojos and, you know, pandemic, some went on, you know, I don't have them, you know. And then, you know, and then from there it was just like, it just got to the family and from there to the boys. And then, you know, and then you're telling me like, hey, right now I'm not proud of it, but I'm sleeping in the car right now, you know. And then from there it was like, I couldn't believe what you're telling me because I saw myself in you. I was like, no way, man, that's crazy, because it was like I've done that too, and I'm going through something too, and I got 2 boys too. Can you kind of explain, like, for the audience, like what really happened that day as your purpose? Because I know it's deep, but it went on for like a good 30-45 minutes, bro. It was crazy.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I had a studio, and we just opened a new studio. My family and I. It was a studio. It was called Into Flow Studios, and it was to bring out the arts. You know, we've been a very artistic family. Myself, I'm a martial artist. My wife's a poet, a writer. My other son's a professional harpist. My other son's a dancer. But we all share martial arts, and we brought together this studio so we can hit, you know, the crowd. It was meant for a lot of people, but the pandemic came, and within 10 months we had to close up the shop and never was able to reopen. And so we poured everything into that place. Okay. So, and there was no way for us to reopen the studio. And so it was just all of our dreams got crushed in that one shot. So, and you know, it's just one of those things. And so
it happens.
Yeah. And at that point, you know, I realized, and I think about, I think about Job, and Job talks about, you know, through, God does these things to you because he wants to teach you a bigger lesson. There's a bigger purpose for you.
Yeah.
And that's what it was, believe it or not. I know for sure it was, because at that time, you know, really, you know, up to that point, I was, you know, living in $1 million home, don't have to worry about anything, all of these things, everything was so good. And then everything just hit the fan, man. It just bam, with the pandemic and having to be indoors all the time. And I couldn't practice my craft. I couldn't see people. Turned me nuts. Yeah. And so that's how I ended up over there. At one point I said, you know, I can't do this anymore. I cannot. So I went to the UFC. I told you I was a member. And when I ended up there, we got into this whole thing of where I was at, you know, living in my car, you know, because things went down in my family in regards to, you know, it was just got so hard, you know. Of course, financial things took their toll on our family and everything like that. And so, you know, so I was just trying to figure out. And so when I talked to you, you said, you know, I know that I told you what I was really experiencing. And you said, you know what? You said, you know, I'm going to talk to the general manager. I'm going to, whatever you were paying at that time, I'm going to give to you. And I appreciate it so much. And I feel very blessed and grateful because I needed a place to express myself, you know, honestly. And I know that we talked about a lot of things because we both have boys, and I let you know that, you know, that's the most important thing. Because I was good. I've been so good. You know, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But I love my sons. I give the best I can to them.
That's all you can do, man. And life is the biggest educator of them all.
Yep.
Exactly. Life will throw everything at you. You'll experience everything, the good and the bad.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I totally understand like what life can do.
Yeah.
It's very unexpected.
And that's what it was. And so I call him Angel, which means angel. You know, and he says to me, nobody's ever called me an angel. And you could see why. He's tough. This guy's a tough cookie, man. You know, but I called him my angel because he like saved me.
Wow, that's amazing, man.
So when you talk about save me and all that, like I remember, with the whole living in the car, because I lived in the car. My car has been repoed, lived in the streets, I lived in the park, lived couch to couch. I remember I told the general manager, JT, I was like, yo, this is what's going on, whoop-de-whoop. And then JT came around and said a big thing. And I told Bobby about it.
This is a very inspiring story.
And he was like, yo, he's like, yeah, that's not the man that you are. That's not the man that you are. If that's what you feel like, Gio and I will go down to Walmart and go buy a tent, and we'll go take that bad boy where it needs to be, and we'll go set it up for you, and you can live in that tent if that's how you want to live. And then we had that moment. Obviously, I was going through some things, and I was crying. It's hard for these men to open up like that and to share a tear, because everyone wants to be Spartan 300. Everyone wants to be that dude on that show with those knives, like that power that you have. But we were there. We hold hands. We hugged each other.
Yep, we did.
We were crying and pouring. Yes, we were. And we didn't even know each other.
Nope,
we didn't even know each other. And when we told you what we told you, you looked at us and you said, "Nah, that ain't me, man.
Yeah,
that ain't me."
Absolutely, and that's how I felt. I just remember I was bawling. We were both crying. I was like, man, we're sitting there in a packed gym, you and I, Mr. Machos, bawling. It was so funny, man. Wow. It was like crying, man. It's like, oh my God, all these people walking back and forth, and here we are crying. And to me, the reason why I find that important is because when I feel slain, what I call slain in the spirit, when the tears come flowing, and it's real, you can't control it. The most important things have happened through the hardships. I've learned the most through my hardships. And I think that's what the life's about is, when I think about God, lifting me up, it was like you, that's how I call you angels, because you kind of like lifted me up and allowed me to be who I was meant to be. Yeah. And up to that point, I kind of lost myself, to be honest with you. I just knew that the thing that was always my touchstone was always the martial arts. This always the thing that I've always loved, always think I was very passionate about. And to have lost it and have no place to practice it anymore, and not to practice it how I want to practice it, I was completely lost.
Yeah.
And you gave me that ability. That's how I see every time. I feel a lot of love for you, and that's how I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Wow. And it does take time for purpose. Yeah. It takes every person a different amount of time to find their own purpose, whatever it be. Purpose comes in different forms and shapes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like your purpose is martial arts, and it gives you peace. It gives you peace of mind, and helping others realize that peace of mind as well. Like myself, my peace of mind is music. I've always been into music. Cheers to that, you guys. Let me get a little too.
So you have some questions. You have some questions for Uncle Roland.
I do,
purpose, right?
But I want to talk a little bit more about this really quick.
Okay.
What do you want to know?
No. I'm sorry. So my purpose is actually music. I really find that very peaceful. I like when I'm on stage. When I growing up, I played the drums. I was always in the school bands. I was in the marching band, and it really gives me a peace of mind, sharing the music and the love for music to others. Yeah. And I truly understand where you come from with that peace of mind. There was a time where I was disconnected from music. It was the pandemic as well. The pandemic, I was very disconnected with music, and it was tough. It was very tough. I wasn't able to perform live. Yeah. And I didn't feel right. I wasn't myself.
Yeah.
I truly wasn't. But a few years after I started to get out and I started to experiencing performing live, and I felt myself. Yeah. I'm better. And I'm back to to experiencing this purpose that I share with others.
Yeah.
And I do believe that the purpose of, or the value of purpose for individuals is to share it with others.
I agree.
I totally agree, you know?
I mean, there's people out there that don't even know their purpose. Let's just be real. They're sitting there watching us right now. I mean, I've been there and sit there and then done that several times in my life. Could have been at, I don't know, 10 years young to 15 to 23 to 30, 40s, 50s.
You're not 50 yet.
I'm just saying, like, in general.
Okay.
Like, people, there's people watching this right now, and they don't even know what their purpose is. They're still trying to figure it out. I mean, I have a moment every now and then, once in a blue moon, where I'm in the car. I'm like, dude, what am I supposed to be here for?
Yeah, absolutely.
It happens. That's just what it is.
I mean, that's just a big question. You know, you think about, what's Jesus' purpose? Jesus' purpose was to come to earth and save the earth through shedding the blood and gaining forgiveness. What was his mother's purpose? Is to bore the Messiah. What was Bob Marley's purpose is to share love and peace through his music.
Bob Marley, I like Bob Marley.
What was the Buddha's purpose? So there's all of these iconic people, and you could see their purpose. Like for instance, Mother Teresa. It was all about the poor and the sick. You think about that. That was her whole life. But if you read her biography, she was inside in so much turmoil. Some of us, you think of the people who have a purpose and do so much greatness. They're inside hurting. That's why they do such great contributions, because they're hurting inside and they believe what they do is going to be so helpful, And so I think that finding our purpose is really what it's about, To me, it's like I think about that question all the time about my purpose. And I say, what is my purpose? And I know, of course, it's through the craft that God blessed me with, which is the martial arts, which I've always been passionate about.
Yep. Praise to that one right there.
And it's about making people happy, smile, letting people know their personal power, giving people dreams and hopes that they're great, giving them the self-worth through encouraging them. And I think that's what I got back right now. And that's what I was thinking about today before we did the show. I said, what is my purpose? Because I always talk about that purpose. And I thought, that's my purpose. My purpose is to make people smile and find themselves, realize that they have power to be their personal selves. And you know what? And everybody's unique. Your purpose is different than his purpose, than my purpose. Yeah. And we're not in the same boat. God blessed each one of us with a purpose specifically that's unique to us. And you know what? It's important for us to find that for ourselves and really be it. And that's the only way we can get that is through humility.
And you got that when you came in that day, because I ended up giving you what you want, and then you started training right away. And then from there, I ran into you like the next day or so, and I asked you, "What's up, man? How you doing?" And then I feel like just rest in peace. I always tell you, we got you that nickname because of Uncle Rocky. Uncle Rocky Watson, my ex football coach and Pop Warner, also a mixed martial artist. And unfortunately he passed away at a young age. But we didn't call him a coach. We call him Unc. We call him Uncle Rocky. He was always Uncle. And
there we go.
People looked at him as a dad, as an uncle. So when I met you and all that stuff that was going on, I was like, yo, you're Uncle Roland, bro.
Thank you.
I mean, you're big Unc. And then, you did what you did. And then I was like, you know what, man, you need to be working here, bro.
Yeah,
JT was really the one that was like, you need to be working here. Like, you got so much experience. We can't pass up on a guy like you to come in and do what you do. And then when we told you what we told you, you looked at us like, man, these guys being for real. Like, you knew you could do the job. No doubt about that. Were you a little rusty? Yeah. Nothing you can't look like Tin Man from Wizard of Oz, little oil on you. You'll be fine, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, dude, like a week or 10 days later, I'm at work and it's like, here you go. You got the uniform on, man. I was just like so stoked for this guy.
I really want to know, how did you feel? How did you feel putting on that uniform and getting back to yourself? Like, how did you feel in that moment?
Well, it was actually a it was a scary feeling for me because I've always had my own businesses. And that was the first time. Because when you have a studio, what happens is you advertise as a studio and people come to you, you know. And in being the UFC was the opposite, where I had to go approach people and let them know how good I was or let them know what I could offer them. So it was a really different business experience. And, you know, I remember my first experience, you know, because it's a whole different framework of how you have to approach people. And I still remember one of the things is, okay, you have to, you know, greet the members as they come in and stuff like that. And all I remember was, okay, so I'm sitting there having to greet members and I'm sitting next to this really good looking girl. And so all these members are coming in.
A lot of good looking girls out there.
A lot of good looking girls. Okay. So they're coming in and I'm sitting there. Here I'm a 61-year-old man and I'm sitting next to a blonde, you know, who's really hot.
There we go.
And then she goes, then we're like, these guys are coming in and I can't even get a word out. They just looked right at her and I didn't have a prayer. There's no way. I was like, you know, I have like tons of experience. I'm great at this. And then all of a sudden now it was like, oh, hi, you know, what would you like to do? So I was like, I didn't even get a look. So I said, this is screwed.
Yeah.
I'm screwed here. There's no way.
Yeah.
So that really taught me a lot of, okay, how am I going to add value? How am I going to let people know who I am? You know what I did after that? I just went out on the floor and I just started ripping, man, just do my martial arts.
I've seen that.
That's what happened.
I've seen that.
I started flowing with weapons. I started doing my martial arts and I started doing what I was born to do. And then people saw my value. People came up to me and said, you know what? I really like what you're doing. What are you doing? Because it's unique. Because I know what I do. Bro. I know what I do is not the norm. You know, I have a lot of experience. I've studied in so many martial arts that
they're probably looking at a movie right there. Or something.
You know what, man? Hey, that is so beautiful. Just you know, take away from that. You know, if you're listening right now, just keep pushing, keep developing yourself, keep pushing your craft. People are going to see the value if you value yourself.
Absolutely,
that's what it's about.
If you value yourself, and that's the hard part, is because many times we question ourselves. But you know what? I mean, it's important to believe in ourselves, and the most important is the doing, not the saying. Because we go, oh, I could be this, but it's in the doing that we learn, not in the saying. You know, and I think that that's an important lesson to learn, because many times I'm so much thinking about things and not doing, and I realize it's so important to do and experience, because that's when you experience humility, is in that process, and that's when I think that we're blessed, is in that process of the doing, not the saying.
And you know what? That's what we do here on the Sauce DJ Bobby podcast. We you know, we love connecting with people. We love sharing people's stories, and it gives us a lot of pride that we're able to share people's stories, including ourselves and yours, Uncle Roland. You know. Like I know at UFC, everyone's calling you that now, huh?
Yeah, that's actually
everyone's calling you. That's awesome, man. it has a ring to it. It has a ring to it. So
it does,
big Unc.
Big Unc.
And I love that. You know why I love it is because when I think of some of my uncles and stuff like that, you know, you think of them older, more wise, and, you know, and it's funny.
Look young though, bro.
Yeah.
yeah, super young.
Oh God, but it's fun because I think that what's important is the being young at heart. Embracing life, knowing that this is a gift. You know, we can't control when we're born or when we die, but we can control everything in between. It's important to be ourselves. That's what the hard part to me is, to be yourself.
Especially in this world, bro.
Absolutely.
So
I completely agree.
Social media, people online, different things, their phones. Yeah, people just they're not. It's not how it was, bro.
No, it's not. It's not at all. It's not at all. You know, so yeah, that's how I see it, is to be ourselves, our right and perfect selves, to come from a place of humility.
So let me ask you this. So,
sure.
So at one point you felt like, okay, wasn't for you. What am I doing here? Probably felt out of place. Coming from that different business aspect that you had, what changed? I mean, you said that you started just being you, and you started doing things on the turf field, and you started going into your mixed martial arts and stuff. But from there, it's like, everyone saw you, then it was like a light bulb went in you. And I think now you're one of the top 3 guys in the company right now.
Yeah.
Especially for our location.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, applause to that, man. Applause to that.
Thank you. And I think what it was is kind of like, what I realized is it's the bird in hand, you know, it's like the ships, you know, God sends you all these ships. Okay. And you like so picky. Oh, I don't want that one. I don't want this one. And then God brought the ship to me, and this is the one that I had. So I had to take the ship and go with it. And I couldn't be picky. because I was like, living in my car. I couldn't be picky. I had to go, this is what I got. What was weird is because of the fact that I even went to school to try to learn how to do forklift. And because of the fact that I applied like 200 applications, and then I talked to somebody and he said, you know why they didn't hire? I go, why? It's because you're 61 years old. They don't want to put money into you. They think you're going to retire next year because retirement starts at 62. And I'm like, they don't want to pour money into it. And I was like, what?
That's terrible.
And I said, but that's how it is, man. That's how it is. And I was like, and so at that point, I realized, you know what? I'm skilled at this. I'm great. This is what God bless me. So
this is your purpose.
And this is my
to help
purpose.
people, and shame on them for judging your age, that company, for the forklifting, because here you are doing moves. And I mean, I was just talking about you on the show the other day with episode 11 with Divine.
Yeah.
How like in 45 minutes I burned like 1,300 calories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was unbelievable, bro. Never boxed, did a session in my life. So if y'all want to book a session, tap in with Uncle Roland. You already know. Go set you up with a complimentary.
Woo.
And yeah, man, he's the man. That's what I'm talking about. So
I have a question for you,
sure,
Uncle Roland. So it's about your purpose as well. So what qualities do you possess that you admire in yourself that give you your purpose?
Well, I think my purpose is because I think that I was blessed with not judging others. I was blessed with loving people and accepting for who they are, not for who I want them to be. I was, and I think that because of the fact I love people for the face value, it doesn't matter who they are. I can see the good in them. I can see the potential in them.
That's amazing.
And just love them who they are. And I think that because of that, people sense that and are able to be open to it and ready to hear what I have to give to them. And I'm not trying to give wisdom. I just show love to them. It's like at the UFC. I see people I see a lot of the people who work there, and I can see they want to do something. I say, what are you doing right now? Why don't you come with me on the phone? Let me teach you how to do some kickboxing. Let me show you how to do some boxing. Let me see. And I just teach them. And I don't care about money. Money's not even the issue. It's because I see that they're not confident, but they really want to do something. And I want to contribute. I want to give. And it has nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with my purpose. It has everything to do with making these people believe in themselves, making these people, they can do anything they want if they put their mind to it and their heart. And I'm all accepting of it.
I mean, you seem way more happier, bro.
I am. I'm honestly, it's like I'm so grateful. I feel so blessed because I lost it for a long time. I really lost myself. And I found it again. And it's important to stay humble. To me, out of everything, it's humility. It's all about being at the zero, because you can only, that's right. Like for instance, I go to church, I just bawl, I'm crying. I'm like, what the heck's going on? You know what? I don't care. The reason why is because the Holy Spirit hits me like just a ton of bricks, and it just happens. It just flows. And you know what? It's wonderful. It's wonderful to experience that.
Wow.
Well, he's doing a great job.
Hey, well, so happy for you, Uncle Roland. That's amazing, man. I got another question for you.
Okay.
This is a little curveball for you, okay?
Okay, sure.
So, this is about purpose. So, do dreams correlate with purpose?
Of course they do. A lot of times, what a dream is, what purpose is an aim towards what you believe you're meant to do, and that's dreams. A lot of times through our dreams, I mean, can you imagine the Wright brothers? They probably dreamt of flying. They never knew it couldn't be possible. Just like the person who created the Mars rover. I mean, it wasn't these old engineers that did it. It was these young kids out of college or high school. These people had young minds, didn't have any limitations. That's what dreams are. Dreams are no limitations. And once you have able to manifest a dream, that's your purpose. That's your manifestation of what's inside in your soul. That's what God gives you.
That's I love how you put that. That manifestation that comes from inside you that no one else sees but yourself, and you put it out into the universe.
Absolutely.
And that's why me and Gio too. That's really why we started this podcast too. We felt this connection right away, and things were just aligning, and the universe was connecting, and still is to this day. This episode connects so well, and things are connecting. It just feels amazing. We're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Like he was saying, until 70. Yeah.
Episode 70.
Yeah, I love you guys, man.
Love
I
you
really
too, bro.
do. I really do, and I sincerely mean it.
Me too.
You
Wow.
know, I do.
You help me
Thank you,
out.
Roland.
You help me a lot with myself being a single dad and taking care of the kids and you said be there for them, man, no matter what, because it goes by so quick.
It does.
You just got to be there for them, Gio.
It flies, man.
So I've taken that page and, regardless of whatever's going on in the real world, I'm going to be there for them,
Yeah, that's all you can do. I know I see it from the first day that we met till now. I see it. You're talking about taking them swimming, playing baseball with them. I'm like cheering you on, and I tell all those people at the UFC too, and all the people I meet. I said, man, this is valuable. You have to understand, because there's so many things in my life that I would have done differently.
Yeah.
Also busy with business, creating business, making money, and sometimes those things just slip through your fingers. And it's important to understand that, you know what? Money is not everything. Of course, it's necessary to live, but that's not true happiness. True happiness is in your spirit. Once you find that peace that we all seek, the peace, the joy in spirit, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Wow, that's amazing. What's next for you from here on and going forward for you, man?
Well, right now, my goal is just to, of course, be the best person I can, being able to share and influence people the best I can. Of course, I'm right now teaching, I teach Filipino martial arts at the UFC. I started a program. I'm going to be teaching nunchucks, believe it or not, nunchucks on August 12th. I'm starting a brand new program.
You got a surprise for us too. We're not going to let people know about it, but you got to get them put on a show for us. I heard.
Not right now.
No, not today. But at the remember we talked about that new movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
You got that outfit.
Yeah.
You got something coming, bro. Make sure you guys are hungry.
Yeah, and I think honestly right now it's kind of like I was meant to be like a coach. I was meant to help people through my experiences, because I'm older than ever. I'm probably the oldest trainer over there at the UFC, and I feel like a child there.
You do.
Because I'm like in this playground. I'm like in a martial arts playground, man. It's amazing.
With weights and everything.
Yeah, and so I'm learning stuff. I love learning. It's like, the one thing is there's a philosophy about a Zen master and a regular master, and the Zen master is pouring cup into the master's cup, and the cup starts overflowing. And he says, you can't learn unless you empty your cup. And it's important to have an empty cup. It's important for you to be ready to be filled. If you think you know everything, it's when you actually die. When you think that you have it all together is when you die. It's when you feel that you don't know anything. You're ready to absorb every possibility, every experience, to be able to take it and just learn from it. Bruce Lee used to say that before you can judge anything, you have to experience it, digest it, and then you can make an opinion about it. And I believe that wholeheartedly. People render opinions on everything. Oh my God, you know what? Once you experience it first and then render opinion, and then you'll see, I see parents saying, oh, kid, they're chuds, because you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. And boy, if they got out there and tried to do it, boy, they would change their tune. They would change their tune in a second, and it's important for us to have that humility. I think, to me, out of everything is to do that and be guided by your purpose. And it's a moment-to-moment thing, you guys. Honestly, it's a moment-to-moment thing. It's not like, oh, I got my purpose. No, it's one moment at a time.
That's what I said earlier.
Live in the
I was
moment.
like, there's spurts that go on. It's like, dude, what am I doing here?
And,
trying to find that out.
And we have to always uncover that, because we get hit so much data in our lifetime and so much things of social media that, we have to be like this, we have to look like this, or whatever. And you know what? We have to be able to sift through that and stay true, to ourselves. And we can only do that if we're listening. We have to listen.
God gave you 2 years for a reason.
Yeah, 2 years and one. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly. Listen more than talk.
Awesome, man. Hey,
close to it too.
Hey, well, you know what, Uncle Roland, such a pleasure having you on, man. So all this free knowledge that you're giving us, dude, it's really inspiring us all.
You probably can give us another couple hours of this knowledge.
Really, really, huh?
Amazing. The purpose, man.
The purpose.
So again, this is episode 12. Looks like we're gonna wrap this up. Uncle Roland, again, Bobby, we appreciate everyone being on, and you know where Uncle Roland's at. Really good dude from the come up. Reminds me of the movie Pursuit of Happiness, but in mixed martial arts, and we're still fighting and battling every day.
Absolutely.
And remember, it's hard to open up, but you guys, whatever you guys are going through, and if you ever have something going on, no one's alone. You know, you think
Absolutely.
you think you're alone, and those of you watching, but if you only were open just a little bit, you never know what kind of advice you could get. Or
Yes, reach
you
out,
know,
reach
Yeah,
out to
absolutely.
reach out to
something
friends, family.
something could happen where you and maybe they're in that situation. Like it can help you. You know?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So-
I completely agree, man. Like I said, this has been a joy, man. It's been a joy to be sitting here with you guys and in this environment.
Likewise.
And being able to express myself, and shoot from the hip and be honest.
Yep.
It's important to be honest. It's important to be honest with
Good karma.
yourself. And I'm grateful.
Awesome.
That's the Sauce DJ Bobby podcast, man.
And that's all, man. Hey, thank you
DJ
guys so
Bobby.
much for listening, tuning in.
DJ Bobby out, Saucy Capone, Uncle Roland,
Thank you guys so much, you guys.
the master.
There we go. Yes.
Thank you.
Look at that. Amazing.
Oh man. Oh, thanks, man.
Flowing, man.
That's the not a bond right there. And that's my son. He's amazing.
Which one?
Right there, I'm kicking at.
That
That's
one
my
right there?
son.
No way.
He's a beautiful
He's
boy.
the one that was doing the kicks.
Yeah,
bro?
he's a
Amazing.
dancer.
Oh,
He's a martial
wow.
artist, and that's me shooting that. And watch him. He should take a shot. Like here, boom. Here he goes. Push him away, and then hit him with a knockout shot to the head.